Hello everyone, my name is Elasi. Today I am going to be talking about the singleton pattern, a fundamental concept in the world of creational design pattern. What are design patterns? Design patterns are the established solutions to securing problems in software development. They act as a blueprints providing a proven approach to structuring code and promoting reusability, maintainability, and efficiency. There are three types of design patterns: behavioral design patterns, structural design patterns, and creational design patterns. Now we are going to discuss about singleton design patterns. Singleton design pattern falls under the category of creational design pattern. It focuses on how objects are created and ensures that a class has exactly only one instance as an object. This is a diagrammatical representation of a singleton object. Single object acts as a central point of access of any part of a code that needs it. Motivation. Imagine a well-stocked office pantry. There will be no two printers. Singleton offer this same and need only one instance, a single object throughout the entire program as objects and acts as a central hub readily available for any part of your code that needs it. That is, it forms some classes to have exactly one instance. Many printers, but only one printer spooler, one file system, one window manager. An accounting system will be dedicated serving to one company. Now let us see what are the problems faced by the singleton pattern. The singleton pattern solves two problems at the same time, violating the single principality principle. First one, ensure that a class has a single inheritance. That is, single inheritance. It ensures that a class has just one single instance, like a database connection for shared access. It might validate single responsibility principle by managing instance creation. Imagine creating an object, but instead of new one, you are getting already an existing one. Regular constructors can't achieve this as they are always return the new objects. Clients may Clients may not even realize that they are working with the same object all the time. Second problem, provide a global access point to that instance. Remember those global variables that you all right used to be some essential objects. While they are handy, they are unused since code can potentially override the contents of those variables, crash the apps. So there can be singleton strictly controls instance creation. It ensures only one instance exists using a private constructor and static variable to hold the static instance. So there are two main benefits of this. Safe global access, code can access the shared resources throughout the controlled method. The second one is guaranteed single instance. There will be only one database connection. So what are the solutions? All the implementation of the singleton, they have two steps in common. That is, they make the default constructor private to prevent other objects from using the new operator with the singleton class. They create a static creational method that acts as a constructor. Under the world, this method calls the private constructor to create an object and saves it in a static field. All the following calls to this method return the cached object. And if the code has the access to the singleton, then they will call the singleton static method. So whenever that method is called, then the same object will also be returned. So the real world analogy of singleton pattern is the government is an excellent example of singleton pattern. A country can have only one official government regardless of the personal identities of the individuals who forms governments. The title, the government of X, is a global point of access that identifies the group of people in charge. So the applicability of singleton pattern. So there must be only one instance of a class. It must be accessible to the client from a well-known access point. When the sole instance should be extensible by subclassing, client should be able to use an extended instance without modifying their code. So let us see the structure of the singleton pattern. The client accesses the get instance method. And if the instances is null, that is, we are creating an app with multi-threading support, and we should place a thread lock here. And the singleton class, it declares the static method get instance that returns the same instance of its own class. The singleton's constructor, it should be hidden from the client code. Calling the get instance method, it should be the only way of getting the singleton object. So the participant of singleton pattern, it defines an instance operation that lets clients access its unique instance. Instance operation is a class operation, that is the static method. It may be responsible for creating its own unique instance. So the collaboration of singleton pattern. So singleton pattern, the clients access singleton instance solely through the singleton instance operation. What are the benefits of the singleton pattern? There are so many benefits. The first one is controlled access to sole instance. That is, we have the strict control how the clients can access it. The second one, the reduced namespace. That is, improvement over global variables, and it avoids the namespace with the global variables so that it can store the instances. Permits refinement of operation and representation. So the singleton instance, it can be a subclasses, and it can be easy to configure instance. It permits a variable number of instances. So we can change our mind, and it can allow more than one instance of the singleton. It can be more flexible than class operations. So static methods, it cannot be overridden polymorphically. So this technique, it makes it hard to change the design to allow more than one instance of a class. Let us see the implementation part of the singleton pattern. It ensures a unique instance, that is, it hides the operation and it creates an instance behind a class operations that guarantees that is only one instance is created. This operation has access to the variable that holds the unique instance, and it ensures the variable initialized with the unique instance before returning its value. Subclassing the singleton class. That is, the issue is about installing the subclass unique instance so that clients will be able to reuse it. The variable that refers to the singleton instance, it must be initialized with an instance of the subclass. Determine which singleton you want to be in singleton instance operation. Take the implementation of instance out of the parent class and put it in a subclass. It becomes more flexible approach to use a registry of singleton instead of having instance define the set of possible singleton class. The singleton class can register their singleton instance by calling its well-known registry. So what are the known uses of the singleton? Interface toolkit uses the singleton pattern to access the unique instance of its session class. So let us see the related patterns. So there are totally 23 different types of patterns, and some of the patterns, many patterns, it can be implemented by using the singleton pattern. That is, the number one pattern is abstract factory pattern. The second is the builder pattern, and the third is prototype. Now let us see some of the real world examples of the singleton pattern for a better understanding. First is logging. So imagine an application that keeps track of error and events by writing a log file. So you wouldn't want a multiple logger objects writing to the same file simultaneously, as these could corrupt the log data. So in this situation, a singleton logger, it ensures only one instance is responsible for writing to log file and maintaining the data integrity. At the end of this, only one instance is used throughout the code, and we also have the global one. And some of the other examples of singleton pattern, it could be configuration management, printer spooler, and system tray application. These are some of the examples of real-time examples of singleton pattern. So this is the end of the presentation. At last, the main aim of the singleton pattern is it focuses on how objects are created, and it ensures that a class has only one instance or the object. And the single object, it acts as a central point of access of any part, so that our code needs to access it from anywhere. So This is about a singleton design patterns. Thank you.